Good evening. How are you doing? Of course, I'm like not quite where I wanted to be. So, tonight I want to ask you to consider one of the biggest Zen koans that we have. Ask yourself the question, who am I? Who are you now? Are you just a collection of organs that make up your body? If so, most of the cells in your body die and are replaced over several years. So your body is almost completely different now than it was 7 years ago. So then, are you a different person? Who were you before your parents gave you a name? Where were you before you were born? And where will you go after you die? Do you know the answer to any of these questions? If you don't know the answers, that's okay. That's called a don't know mind. Acknowledging that you have a don't know mind is taking a big step in the right direction. If you want to find a deeper truth about the essence of your being, you have to acknowledge how much you don't know. What is the part of you that makes decisions? What's behind your face and behind your eyes that makes choices and controls your thoughts? Tonight, when we meditate, I want you to turn your gaze inward and ask yourself, who am I? Plant this idea like a seed in your mind. While we meditate, attempt to clear out all of the thoughts that sprout up like weeds so that your seed has room to grow. Try to let go of your ego, your sense of self, your thoughts, emotions, opinions, and desire, and see what's left when all of that is gone. To help us clear out our mind, we're going to meditate using a mantra. But first, let's prepare ourselves by breathing together. This is a simple technique that you can use to help you relax and prepare your body for meditation. Start by breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper than you usually do. Visualize your heart in the center of your chest as you breathe. As you listen to me, I want you to slow down your breath and breathe a little bit deeper. Feel your breath coming in through your nose and mouth and collecting all of the energy from your brain and moving it from your head into your heart. Imagine now that you're breathing with your heart. The purpose of this is to try to align our mind, heart, and body. You can also place your hand on your heart and close your eyes if you'd like. Keep breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper as I talk. This is a technique that you can use to relax or reset yourself whenever you feel nervous or anxious, or whenever you feel like you need to switch gears from different activities you're doing throughout the day. You can use it when you wake up, before you enter a stressful meeting, before you go to sleep, or before you meditate. Let's just take a few more moments to take some slow and deep breaths. Tonight when we meditate, we'll sit facing the wall. We're going to sit with our legs crossed. Our hands will be right hand, left hand, touching thumbs, centered in your lap. Try to keep your neck and back straight. Your eyes will be closed, but if they were open, they would be at a 45-degree angle, looking at the floor. If you get uncomfortable during meditation, you can stretch out or stand up. Just try to be quiet and respectful of everyone else meditating around you. In traditional Zen meditation, a mantra is used to clear our mind. The mantra is a focal point of meditation, usually a word or a phrase that's repeated within our mind. If you try not to think, thoughts will inevitably come into your mind. So by focusing on a mantra, you can use it to push out all of the other thoughts. As you meditate, only concentrate on your mantra. If another thought comes into your mind, let it pass and return to focusing on your mantra. A good mantra to use during meditation practice is Koan. Kwanzaa Bosal is the bodhisattva of love and compassion in Korean Zen. She's often depicted with thousands of eyes and hands and is said to be able to see the suffering of everyone and help those who call out her name. Using this mantra will bring compassionate energy towards you while you meditate. Drawing this compassionate energy towards you is like giving water to your seeds, which will help them grow. Now let's turn around and meditate for about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll come back to the talk. So how was your meditation? Okay. Do you know who you are now? It's okay if you don't. Just keep a don't know mind and keep seeking the answers. So what is the essence of your being? Is it your body, your soul, your spirit, or is it your mind? If you have a decision or a choice to make, where does that answer come from? What decides yes or no? Does the decision come from your body or perhaps your brain? Is there a physical mechanism in your body or an algorithm that makes decisions for you? Or does it come from your heart as an internal feeling? Can you still make a decision when you're unconscious or asleep? If you ask someone who's asleep if they want to go to the movies with you, they're not going to respond. Why is this? Why do we turn off different parts of our body? Why do we turn them on or off throughout the day and night? Why do we sleep? We spend nearly a third of our day unconscious and sleeping. Do you ever wonder why? Where does your consciousness go when you sleep? This line of inquiry brings up some very important questions. Have you ever thought about where your consciousness comes from? Does it come from your body? Where was it before you had a body? Did your consciousness always exist before, or did it appear out of nowhere? I think these are important questions to consider as they start to scratch the surface of who you are and what is the essence of your being. It doesn't matter if you think the essence of your being is your brain, your heart, your spirit, or your soul. To truly know who you are, you have to prove the answer to yourself. If you believe in something that isn't a true reflection of reality, it can cause a cognitive dissonance, which can give rise to anxiety, discomfort, and suffering. If you don't continue to learn and adapt your beliefs to reality, you'll continue to suffer. We've all had ideas about the world that turn out to be false. I've also experienced some suffering as a result of this. My experience has also taught me that the more you cling to these false beliefs, the more suffering you will cause yourself and possibly others. So my advice is to keep testing your beliefs and keep a don't know mind so that you can keep seeking a deeper understanding of the truth. During this process of discovery, remember to be compassionate to yourself. It's okay if one of your assumptions turns out to be wrong. Just try to learn from that experience. Also remind yourself that it's important to be kind and compassionate to others, no matter how much you know. Everyone has their own pace and their own path to finding a deeper understanding. Everyone is also already experiencing some form of suffering, so there's no need to add to that. Most of the time, just showing kindness can be more important than any advice or knowledge you can offer. So how can Zen practice help us find a deeper understanding about the essence of our being? In Zen, we call the essence of our being our mind or heart. When you completely understand who you are, that's called awakening. When your mind becomes illuminated It's called enlightenment. Your mind already projects the brightest light in the universe. It illuminates everything you see, perceive, and deduct about the world we live in and beyond. If you learn how to focus your mind's light, you can use it to see anywhere in the universe. If you learn how to unlock all of its power, it can illuminate everything in the universe. However, the way most people perceive the world is like driving a car at night. When your headlights shine a beam of light out into the darkness, you can only see what's in front of you. You have no idea what's around you or what's beyond the light down the road. Also, you can't even see what the car you're driving in looks like or what it's like inside the car. So this raises the question, how can you see your mind? It's actually quite simple. You need a mirror. Okay, so you can find a mirror to reflect your face or your body. And even the biggest telescopes in the world have huge mirrors which give us glimpses of the universe far beyond what our eyes can see. But everything we know about the universe is contained within our mind. So where do you find a mirror that's big enough to reflect that? The truth is, everything that exists is a mirror. Well, then you might ask, how come I can't see a reflection? The reason is your thinking is getting in the way. From the moment we're born, we're trained to think a certain way so that we can survive in life in this world. From the moment you're given a name, it's implied that you're separate from everything else in the world. That's what naming things does. It draws an imaginary line around something and says, this is where one thing ends and another thing begins. We use names to separate, organize, and categorize everything we see. This helps us to live in the world and survive in the world, but it's not totally accurate. For example, what is the boundary of your body? Your skin? A lot of people would say your skin. But skin is made of cells. Cells are made of molecules, and molecules are made of atoms. And atoms are made of particles. And between each small particle, there's proportionally a vast amount of space. So in truth, this boundary line is not a solid line or a wall. It's an arbitrary line that we've decided to accept as a boundary. In truth, your body's constantly exchanging molecules with the environment, so there's an inherent interdependence. If you cut off your body from the environment, it would die, just like if you removed your heart or your brain. So all of these things are essential to your life and body. Naming, categorizing, and organizing things can be useful in some ways, but it actually obscures our view of reality. We're taught that when you look into a forest, you see plants and animals. Some of the plants we call trees. Then we have names for all the different species of trees. However, if you look carefully, no two trees of the same species are exactly the same. It's true, they have similar characteristics, but each one also has unique characteristics. None of them are exactly the same. But at some point in our mind, we draw an imaginary line and say, these two trees are maple trees. At that point, we're putting a mask over reality, so it's easier for us to process. Otherwise, it becomes too complex for our brains to navigate. These types of names and labels can be helpful, especially if you're looking to get maple syrup. But they cover the true essence of everything. When you cover up a mirror, it no longer reflects. When you cover up reality with names and labels, it no longer reflects the truth of nature. Everything we think we know is not completely accurate. This is why keeping a don't know mind is so important. If you want to know the truth, you have to acknowledge this and keep looking deeper. This is the reason we meditate in Zen practice. We're trying to let go of our thinking, our opinion, desire, and ego so we can find the truth. When your mind's light shines through your eyes, your opinion, desire, emotions, and ego filter the light so that you can't see the entire spectrum of beauty in nature. If your thoughts wander into the past or the future, they cast a shadow over the present moment. This is the reason it's so difficult for most people to see their mind. So many of the things we need to do to survive in life give rise to thoughts, emotions, desires, and opinions. Everything in nature is already providing a mirror of our mind, but the reflection is constantly being obscured by our thoughts. When you're living your life, thoughts and feelings are inevitable. As soon as something happens to you, thoughts and emotions arise. So how can you possibly keep your mind clear? For most of us, it won't happen instantly. Most of us have a lot of misconceptions and emotional baggage that we will need to put down first. To do this, you need to develop a consistent practice and learn how to constantly clear out your mind. You could potentially do this without help, but for most people, it helps to be part of a meditation community or sangha. This is why Buddhists have temples and rituals such as bowing, chanting, group meditation, and Dharma Talks. They're providing a gathering place for the community so that we can help each other along the way. Bowing reminds you to look inward. Chanting and meditation help you to keep your mind clear. And the talks are supposed to inspire you to keep going. They're teaching you to implement a routine to clear your mind and encouraging you to maintain the practice. A community like this can help you overcome the challenges that will inevitably arise in life and remind you to stay on the path. Every time you see a partial reflection of your mind, you get a missing piece of a puzzle. The best I can do for you as a teacher is to help you learn how to collect the pieces. It's up to you to decide how to put these pieces together. When you put the pieces together, you can complete the puzzle. And then when the mind of your light reflects off the mirror of reality, it'll illuminate everything. This is enlightenment, and it will awaken a deeper awareness of your being. I encourage all of you to keep meditating and keep trying to clear your mind. Let go of your thoughts, emotions, opinions, desires, and ego. Acknowledge that there's so much we don't know. If you stay on this path and keep seeking a deeper truth, it can help you awaken a more profound understanding of who you are. I wish you good luck and good fortune in this journey. Thank you for coming. Enjoy your holidays, and I wish you 10,000 ways of good luck in the new year. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Well, you said you asked where does the mind or
The consciousness.
consciousness go when you sleep?
Yeah,
So where does it go?
it's a good question. I have how do I answer it? Kind of, we don't have a name for that place, right? So it doesn't go anywhere. It's where it always is. The difference is our body shuts off. So we have no awareness of our consciousness. But the essence of our being is actually still the same thing. If you keep meditating and keep clearing out all of your thoughts, opinions, desires, ego, put down your sense of self, completely clear your mind, whatever is left there, that's the same place you go when you're asleep. It's the same place you go when you die too. You've experienced it before, right? When you sleep, you've experienced it in some way. You don't have an awareness of it, though, when you're awake. If you meditate and you clear your mind, you can get an awareness of what that is. It's nearly impossible for me to describe that. I've attempted to, actually, in my book. The poem I wrote about it was called The Universe of Dreams. It contains everything in your mind, and you're also connected to a collective consciousness that runs throughout the universe at that point. Your body is what's shutting you off from that when you're awake, because you've trained yourself to think like you have all of these separations of everything. So as you meditate and those lines start to dissolve, then you can conceive and perceive that realm, I guess. I'm running out of words to describe it, but the best I can do is kind of point you there, I think. It's more important, rather than just take my word for it, that you look for it yourself. And that these are the best directions I'm able to come up with at this time. So.
What's the difference when let's say I've experienced times when I have deep sleep where I literally, when I wake up, I have a sense that I did not exist. And then there are other times when I sleep and that sleep is completely disturbed. It's almost like I'm still awake and my mind is racing at 100 miles an hour, going from this to this to this. And the things that I didn't get done during the day, which then wake me up at 4 a.m. thinking, oh gosh, I can't sleep. So,
Is it in your dreams that's waking you up?
no, no,
No? Okay, I'm just trying to
yeah,
clarify what you're asking.
yeah, in reality. So these two different qualities, let's call it, or aspects of sleep, because we need sleep to rejuvenate, right?
Yeah.
We need sleep not just to rejuvenate the body, but may I ask if it does also the mind
Yeah.
when we come back into our wakefulness and have to operate in this world? So how do I make sure I get that quality of sleep where when I wake up I have an essence that I didn't exist. Like this body didn't exist.
Okay. I'm just going to paraphrase what you said so I can have the mic pick it up. But basically, you're asking how to reach a deeper state of sleep where you're not still being disturbed by some of the waking thoughts that occupy your mind sometimes, right? Is that more or less the question? My answer would be that the reason you're not reaching that deeper level of sleep sometimes is that you're not completely turning your body off. So your brain is probably more active during that time, right? So I think that's why, in a slightly deeper stage of sleep, you start to dream. But your brain is still sometimes functioning enough to be putting imagery into your mind. How can you reach a deeper state of sleep? I would suggest trying to meditate before you go to bed. Maybe try that breathing technique a little bit and try and meditate and just try to put down, when I say ego and sense of, I mean literally not like you have a big ego and you have a lot of pride about yourself. I mean, literally your sense of self. So try to put down your thoughts, your sense of self. Try to let that go as much as you can before you go to sleep. And I think that will help you reach that state. I think it might take some practice to get it to work consistently, but I don't know. You can definitely meditate lying down. Usually, I suggest laying on your back, and just relaxing, closing your eyes, and try to meditate in that position, similar to what we did in class using the mantra. Maybe start with the breathing, especially if your mind is racing about things that happen during the day. And first, just try to calm down your body with the breathing, and then try to clear your mind with the meditation. And I would say give that a try. If you fall asleep in that state, you should fall right into like a sleeping meditation. And I think that will take you right into that deep state of sleep. That's the best advice I can give you. But I think keep trying it. If it doesn't work the first time, just keep giving it a try. See if it works. Try it for a few nights before you give up on it if it's not working. Yeah, that's a tough one though. It's easier said than done, right? To turn your mind off or to turn your brain off. I think that's really where the interference is coming. Overactive brain and thinking. So I would suggest just trying that meditation technique. Good luck with that. I hope it works for you. Anything else tonight? Are we doing good on time? I don't have a. Okay. If you have any more questions, I can answer them, or else we can wrap it up. I'm not in a rush. I have some place to be. I have a meeting in like 30 or 40 minutes. But other than that.
Well, I can pick up on that unless you want to shut down.
Do you have more questions? I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, we can just shut it down and have a regular conversation.
So I will just kind of continue on that theme. Is there a way to train the mind to utilize those sleeping hours where the unconsciousness at that time when we're sleeping to train it to be utilized in such a way that actually enhances our experience of living.
So is there a way to train your mind while you're sleeping that will enhance your experiences while you're living? I would generally defer to what I said before. You can turn your sleep into meditation. If you tell yourself, you practice just like I suggested, meditating prior to going to sleep, and then telling yourself that you're going to meditate in your sleep. So planting that seed. I feel like I get that some nights. And I think it's not only from doing that technique of meditating while sleeping, but also trying to meditate, have a regular meditation routine. Try and turn everything, do sitting meditation, but also try to turn your actions into your meditation and try and focus always what you're doing moment by moment. And then when you get good at doing that in your waking hours, you can also apply that to your sleeping hours. Um, I don't think it's like you flick a switch and all of a sudden it works. It didn't happen like that for me. But just from spending many, many hours a day meditating and trying to keep focused on what I'm doing, you get better and better at making more of your day a meditation. And of course, there's always things that are going to come up that derail you from the path. But if you have this routine and this mindset of returning to that practice, then it won't derail you as long. And then I think your sleep will also become more restful and also a form of meditation. And I think if you're waking up and your mind is clear, that's the days you probably feel really good, right? And you want to try and have every moment kind of turn into that experience where, yeah, maybe something really frustrating comes up and you're aggravated, but then you remember your mantra in that moment, like whatever it is, and you remember, I'm just gonna like focus my mind for the next minute. Even if you have to just take a minute out of your day to sit, clear your mind, and then try to get back into the same thing where you're staying focused on whatever is in front of you and not letting whatever just happened poison the moment, basically. So, but I think it's a process. It's something like you start from zero, where most of your day is just being controlled by your thoughts, and you try and whittle that down so that more of your day is being spent in a meditative state, and then keep trying to push that into your sleep as well, because that's the root of your question. But I think if you meditated all day, you're going to go to sleep with a clear mind, right? So then that just will go right into that and have a more restful sleep. So that would be my advice. I wish I had an easier answer, but I think that has been my experience, and has led to more restful nights. So, is that it?